Ever wondered why NVIDIA and AMD are the undisputed kings of the GPU world, raking in billions while everyone else scrambles for scraps? These giants don't even manufacture their own chips. They outsource that heavy lifting. So, what's their secret sauce? What's giving them such an unbreakable moat in this cutthroat industry? And let's not ignore the elephant in the room. China's rising stars like Huawei teaming up with SMIC to challenge the West's dominance. It's a high-stakes game, and today we're diving deep into the AI supply chain, from raw dirt to powerhouse chips that fuel the next generation of AI models. Stick around, because understanding this web could change how you see the tech battles shaping our future. NVIDIA crushed it in 2024 with about $60 billion in sales. Flashback to 2022, that's when AI demand exploded, not just for data centers, but across the board. Their revenue skyrocketed, driven by insatiable hunger for chips like the H100. Overlay AMD's numbers, and it's the same story. Massive jumps that make them look like hungry startups on steroids. But to keep up without dropping the ball, these companies need a rock-solid supply chain. One hiccup and you've got furious customers. Think hyperscalers promising massive data center build-outs, who could bolt to competitors. Producing beasts like the H100 or the upcoming B200 isn't child's play. It's a symphony of precision engineering, and if any part of the chain breaks, the whole show grinds to a halt. We're breaking this down into three core pillars: raw materials, chip design, and manufacturing. Each step is a potential choke point, loaded with geopolitical drama, innovation hurdles, and billion-dollar bets. By the end, you'll see why some players are indispensable and others are playing catch-up. First up, raw materials. Yeah, we're talking about the basics, the stuff that turns into those silicon wafers powering your GPUs. It all starts with sand, specifically silicate minerals. The planet's lousy with it. Beaches, deserts, riverbeds. No one's fighting wars over common sand, yet. But to crank out top-tier semiconductors, you need the pure stuff. We're talking 99.9999% pure quartz, or what insiders call 9N silicon. This high-purity quartz, HPQ, is the crystal meth of the chip world, pure, potent, and essential for flawless performance. There are grades based on silicon dioxide purity, and most deposits on Earth are too contaminated for cutting-edge chips. The gold standard, Spruce Pine Mine in North Carolina, USA. This single site supplies 70 to 90% of the world's HPQ. Imagine that, one mine in the American heartland holding the keys to the global chip kingdom. If a natural disaster, strike, or sabotage hits Spruce Pine, we're looking at chip shortages that could ripple through data centers, delaying AI breakthroughs and jacking up prices for everything from gaming rigs to cloud services. Sure, there are lower-grade alternatives scattered around, but they don't pack the same punch. China's waking up to this vulnerability. They import about 80% of their HPQ from places like Spruce Pine, but they're hustling for self-reliance. Recent discoveries in Qinghai Province and Xinjiang boast over 35 million tons of HPQ at 99.996% purity. Solid, but not quite elite. It's a step toward breaking free from Western suppliers, fueling their push in domestic chip production. But silicon's just the headliner. The supporting cast includes copper for electrical connections, zipping between chip layers, aluminum for packaging and cooling those heat monsters, and tin for bonding during assembly. These metals have their own global supply webs, mined from places like Chile for copper or Australia for aluminum. Disruptions here, think trade wars or mining strikes, could slow the whole pipeline. It's a reminder, even in our high-tech era, we're still at the mercy of Mother Earth and international politics. Now, let's shift gears to chip design, the brainiac phase where magic happens. Modern GPUs are monsters. NVIDIA's H100 packs 80 billion transistors, and the B200 class, over 200 billion. Designing these isn't like sketching a blueprint. It's like orchestrating a microscopic city. You've got to route signals through dense copper mazes, manage power delivery, dissipate heat across metal layers, and cram it all onto a sliver of silicon without failures. Some companies are fabless. They design the chips but farm out manufacturing. NVIDIA, AMD, and Apple fall here. Brilliant architects, zero factories. Then, there are integrated device manufacturers, IDMs, like Samsung and Intel, who handle design and production under one roof. Even tech titans like Amazon, with Inferentia and Trainium, Google, TPUs, and Microsoft, Azure Maya 100, design their own silicon but outsource the fab work. making them fabless too. China's in the mix with Huawei's HiSilicon, Byron Technology, and Combricon churning out GPUs. Design isn't solitary genius work, it's collaborative. Chips reuse standard cell libraries, pre-verified blocks like memory cells and logic gates. Snap them together like Legos for complex structures. At bleeding-edge scales, 3 nanometers or 5 nanometers, things get insanely tricky. That's why firms like ARM, Synopsys, and Cadence dominate with their intellectual property, IP. This IP stranglehold makes it brutal for China to go fully independent. Every design borrows from Western tech roots. Once the blueprint's locked, we hit manufacturing, the forge, where designs become reality. Foundries take those fabless designs, mix in raw materials, and spit out chips for AI labs like OpenAI, Anthropic, and xAI. Only a handful can handle advanced nodes: TSMC in Taiwan, Samsung in South Korea, with SMIC in China, and Intel in the US ramping up. The process? A gauntlet. Wafer fab, oxidation, photolithography, etching, deposition, metallization, electrical die sort, EDS, and packaging. But the real killer bottleneck? Photolithography. Here, patterns from the design are etched onto wafers using photomasks, glass plates, and coating circuits. It demands extreme ultraviolet EUV scanners, machines costing over $300 million each. And the sole supplier? ASML, a Dutch powerhouse. That's right, one company controls the EUV game. Want to build advanced chips? You need ASML's gear. Demand is skyrocketing. Industry needs exceed 150 units a year, but ASML's only ramping to about 90 in 2025. This shortfall means fabs are waiting in line, delaying expansions and driving up costs. It's a classic bottleneck. Too much hunger for AI chips, not enough high-tech printers to make them. Advancements like high-NA EUV are coming, promising sharper patterns for 2 nanometer nodes, but rollout is slow. Multi-beam E-beam lithography and AI-optimized patterning are in the mix too, but they're years from mass adoption. China's pushing hard on indigenous lithography. Beijing's prioritizing it since export controls bid in, with claims of breakthroughs at firms like SMIC. But experts debate if it's real progress or hype. Their tools still lag, capping performance at older nodes. This lithography squeeze isn't just technical, it's geopolitical. US tariffs on equipment are hiking prices, and volatility in the semi-market makes manufacturers cautious. If we don't bust this bottleneck, AI growth could stall, hitting everything from self-driving cars to data centers. And speaking of geopolitics, let's zoom in on TSMC and the Taiwan powder keg. Taiwan's the epicenter of advanced chip making. TSMC fabs over 90% of the world's bleeding-edge semis. But with China just 100 miles away, tensions are boiling. As of December 2025, Beijing's ramping up rhetoric and military drills, with PLA docs outlining joint firepower strikes as a prelude to invasion. Investors are sweating. A Seeking Alpha poll asks, what if China retakes Taiwan? The answer? Catastrophic disruption. TSMC output halts, supply chains shatter, stocks tank. We're talking trillions in economic fallout, delaying AI rollouts by years. TSMC's not sitting idle. They're diversifying. New fabs in Arizona, Japan, and Germany to hedge against invasion risks. US-China frictions, plus Trump's America First push, are accelerating this reshoring. Taiwan worries its silicon shield, the idea that its chip dominance deters attack, is eroding as production shifts stateside. Japan's new PM sparked Beijing ire with Taiwan threat remarks, while ASEAN nations juggle ties with both sides. Add probes into TSMC execs and export curbs. And it's clear, Taiwan's vulnerability is the supply chain's Achilles heel. If conflict erupts, forget chip shortages. We're in full-blown crisis mode. So why the moat for NVIDIA and AMD? It's mastery of this chain, locked-in designs, IP dominance, and fab partnerships. China's charging hard, but export curbs, lithography gaps, and Taiwan risks slow them. The supply chain's a fragile beast. Spruce pine quakes, ASML shortages, Taiwan flashpoints could upend it all. For AI's future, it's not just about who designs the best chip. It's who navigates the bottlenecks in geopolitics. As demand surges in 2025, watch for shifts, more US onshoring, Chinese lithography leaps, or new players like Xlight tackling EUV limits. This isn't abstract. It's the backbone of your next smartphone, self-driving car, or AI assistant. If you're in tech, investing, or just curious about global power plays, this chain's where the action is. Hit like if this breakdown hooked you, subscribe for more deep dives, and drop comments. Who's winning the chip wars? West or East? Let's debate. Thanks for watching. Stay ahead of the curve.